CountyBoySin brought his camera.
Yo, Paris Banks.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Paris. You already know where to find me, in the studio with Paris. And I'm here with CountyBoySin. What kind of questions you got today? I'm so nervous.
You said how many questions?
I said, what kind of questions you got? I'm nervous.
Well, journalistic integrity, man. We got to ask about everything. We're going to dive into some things might be sensitive, some things might be a little personal, but some things are going to be fun still, too. And some things are going to reflect the work ethic that you actually do have. And I know you personally, so I know you have these type of work ethics. You feel what I'm saying?
I got you.
So we're gonna run it all down, right?
Hold on. Speaking of knowing me personally, feel a little offended because you should have had me here. You got everybody else showing up and pulling up, but you keep putting me up, brushing me to the side. We find out we gotta get in the ring and box it out.
Yo, you talking about box it out? You know what, yo? I know how busy you are. So it took us. What did it take us? Like 9 months, 10 months to even
forever. And I was late tonight, so I get it.
It's totally good, right? So Paris, you transitioned into being a rapper. Talk to us about that. Talk to us about why you wanted to start rapping, and talk to us about who influenced you for in terms of the rap game, or somebody even closer to you, somebody personal to you. Talk to us about it.
Okay, well, what kind of influenced me to do music was literally the desire to do something different with my life because of the industry that I came from. I do come from being in the adult entertainment industry for many years. So I literally, I've been through a lot of tragedies in my life, which I know we'll touch on, but I kind of came to the point of like, I know God has me here for a reason after all that I've been through. So it's like, it's got to be something more that I need to be doing. I had an opportunity, a door opened to me when I went to an event about almost 2 years ago now. And I met somebody in the music industry, and he was like, would you like to come to the studio, see how you like it? Literally the next day I went, I fell in love with it. Yeah, I had people writing for me for the longest, but now I'm writing myself. I use it as like a form of therapy.
So what I do want to give you, a little grace on, and I do want to basically praise something that you just said. A lot of people don't really admit to having a ghostwriter, right? In the industry, when you have other people writing for you, it's called a ghostwriter. So, you kind of lose the eliteful profile and image that you have as a rapper when you do mention yourself having a ghostwriter. See, it's kind of sacrilegious when you mention ghostwriter and somebody talk about rapping. Why are you so comfortable talking about that? I know it is your truth, but what is that about? Talk to us about that.
I mean, the truth is definitely where I stand most comfortable. I wouldn't necessarily call it a ghostwriter because they got their credits on things. I consider a ghostwriter somebody who probably gets paid and doesn't get credits on the back end. Their name isn't mentioned. It's always been clear in my credentials that I had a writer the entire time. When I first came into the industry, I had good writers. I love them, respect them. They got me far, but I am grateful that I am able to do it myself now. That it was I had men writing for me, and it was mostly circled around like ass shaking music and that culture and hip hop of females now of that it's just pussy popping, ass shaking, and that wasn't what I wanted to stand on. I left the adult entertainment industry because I wanted to do something different. So for me, it just felt like I was doing the same thing. You know what I mean? But now in a more, I don't know. It didn't sit right with me. I've written poems my entire life, so I started literally just turning the poems into songs, putting those words that I write down behind a beat and doing everything myself. And yeah, it started resonating more.
So with you having a ghostwriter, is there anybody notable that we can kind of reference in terms of who you've worked with? I know I'm gonna mention some names a little bit more, more further on in the interview. But is there anybody that anybody can kind of make relative to themselves that some rappers could deem as a household name? Is there any of those that you've worked with in the past or no?
Yeah, there's a couple. I have a song about the job with Mano. You actually were just right there.
I think Mano on the screen.
Mano's on the screen, yeah, as I walked in. I have another one with Mo Dub, he has a viral song. He's out of New York. It's called Same Heart. Probably seen the music videos with the balloons, the blue balloons, the hearts.
Right.
That's a really dope song. I have a couple songs with Chrissy Bands. I have songs with Robbie Nova. He was actually one of my writers at one point. Yeah, I have a lot of songs dropping this year that have really dope features. I just did one. I did two last week here out of Philadelphia that was with a Spanish artist, Mike Sanchez. And those are my first two songs that have like half English, half Spanish. So that was really cool to see it come together and like to sit in the room together and feed off of each other's energy, bar for bar with each other and just make it happen.
You know what, Paris? When it comes to business acumen, when it comes to being business savvy, I do hold you up there with the greats.
Well,
Okay?
thank you.
No problem at all. And like I said, you like family. You know, I know you outside of this whole interview space and this whole social media
Right.
space. Me and you got history, not like not in terms of a relationship, but in terms of just being mutual knowings of
Tell
each
the people
other.
how we met.
Yeah. Okay. So I met Paris, and I try not to let people in my personal life. And all
Me
this.
either, because nobody even knows I went through this, right?
So I was at a house. I'm not gonna say what house I was at, but I was at a house, and I was already standing outside, and Paris ended up crashing like her Escalade. She drives a big black tinted out Escalade that's rims and tinted out. I think it was music blast. Like I really, and I'm being 100% honest. I mean, like really, I am 100%. She crashed the Escalade into a tree. I'm telling you, right now.
At least it wasn't a person or a car, right?
No.
It was
grateful.
definitely a tree.
We are very fortunate that it wasn't a human being or anything like that, right? But that let me know right there. And actually, shout out Bars Unlocked. You was coming back.
No, that's where I was headed to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was leaving running late. I was headed over to Bars Unlocked to do a mic drop performance.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to bring it all back because it was a stressful day, and I still got there. I still went.
Yeah.
I had my car towed. I had my manager at the time pick me up, and we still made it over there. But
I don't even think See, this is how much I really do my research as a journalist. I don't even think I knew that you was on your way or coming from Bars Unlocked.
No, I don't.
You didn't.
I don't think I mentioned it.
No, because at the time you was just so distraught. And,
and we didn't know each other. I just seen you across the street recording.
And did you see? Do you remember? Do you remember what I said to you when you crashed it? Because you were very distraught.
You said, I don't know. I think you asked me if I was okay or.
I definitely said that.
I don't remember.
But look, one of my favorite lines.
What the hell was you doing or something?
No, not what are you doing? You just
crashed your car. I think you asked me what I was doing why I crashed into a tree.
No, because I look at things, it's like, hey, what was she doing when she crashed? Texas? No. But what I will say is though, Paris, I had told you, I said, if this is the worst day of your life can only get better.
That's true.
That was the slogan I gave you. And I think right then you jumped right up and you was like, all right, I'm good. And really, you really did recover. And that's what I mean by, my original question was you being business savvy. I feel like, you're very resilient. And we're going to talk about some ways that you are resilient and some things that happened to you in your personal life. You know what I mean? How did you become so business savvy? Whether if it's, like you mentioned earlier, doing adult films, whether if it's the rentals that you have, I know you do Airbnbs, you out in Brooklyn, you out in New York, you do, you got a skincare cream, things like that. Talk to us about how you gained this level in this elite mode of being so business savvy and so business minded.
I will say that being in the adult entertainment industry made it developed that in me. It made everything else. It opened the door and led me down every other path that I went into. Just having to, put yourself out there in vulnerable ways alone, on top of convincing people to spend their money, that is a pure art form in itself. I will say, let me see. Trying to focus on what the question was. So you said,
how did you become so business savvy? How did this become not on you but part of you? A lot of people say, it's not on you, it's in you. How did that happen?
Listen, I want it all. I want it all. There's so many things that I desire. I feel like I can't be put in a box to be just one thing. I have to put my hand in a little bit of everything. So for me, it's like you can't just count on being this or having this one job or one personality or one career or whatever. You gotta, for me myself, I have to put my hands in different positions. That's why I have a skincare line. That's why I have a production company, a publishing company. I'm a published author, a cleaning care company. The list goes on. You know what I mean? Like I'm not just. You don't look at me and it's simple. Um, and through all of that, through building all of these businesses, meeting different people, it it really shows you and teaches you different things, good and bad. I've been through bad shit. I've been through bad business decisions, bad business partnerships. I really had to learn my way up out of some choices, you know.
What I will say is, even with you saying that you want it all, some would deem that as being selfish. But like I said, me and you have had conversations, most of them off
Mhm.
camera. A lot of our conversations are off camera. Why are you so generous in terms of giving? I know you look at me as like a little brother, okay? Why do you give me so much advice? Like, I know you want it all. We are all working. I always want it all. You know what I mean? But with
Mhm.
you give me a lot of suggestions. You give me a lot of advice based off of becoming more business savvy and more, developing my own acronym in terms of just being more professional and just learning how to make more money. I mean, we
Mhm.
always can use more money. I feel like you have always tried to put me in position to help me the best you could. Why is that? I want people to really understand the second side of you,
Um,
especially when you mentioned being in an adult business. Everything is money oriented. We mentioned the real estate that you do. We mentioned the Uber. I mean, not even Uber. What is that?
Airbnb.
Airbnb. Right.
Mhm.
We mentioned all these things. And see, it's so much stuff I can't even remember it all. Like
It's a
really,
lot, I
honestly,
know.
why do you treat me the way you do in terms of giving me these suggestions? Always helping me anytime you could, and it's all off the muscle. Why is that?
Well, if I'm being honest, I don't do that for many people. I have a lot in the past. I have been this way to a lot of people, just anybody, I met, and I seen quickly that it wasn't valued by everybody. So when I come across a few people that are hungry and do value what I have to say, whether they take everything that I say or even just pieces of it, you know what I'm saying? Like when I see somebody that I can tell knowledge is power and they are hungry and they always want to learn, that's where I stay humble at. You know what I mean? Like I want to empower others because there's things that I didn't know that people had to tell me and teach me. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for others doing the same thing for me, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
100%. That shows the level of humility and how humble you actually are. I'm gonna transition right here. I did a little research. You talked about going and getting plastic surgery.
Hmm.
You kind of told people to stay away from the U.S. in terms of wanting to get plastic surgery. The main reason was because you say that they get plastic surgery in America.
Hmm.
They go in coming out looking the same way.
This is true.
You
This
know,
is true. This is a very popular topic.
what advice would you have for people who want a BBL? I would say yours is firmly fitted. It's
Thank you.
appropriate for your body size and your body anatomy. Talk to us about what made you get a BBL and go on with the surgery, and talk to us about any advice that you might have for other people who have gotten it or still want one.
First of all, let me say I do want to make this disclaimer to the younger generation that anything I speak about as far as adult entertainment or surgeries or anything about changing yourself or outside of your comfort zone or something different, I don't glorify this. This is not something that I speak about to push on to the next generation to make this a culture of, a fad of like, let's do this or let's do that. I believe that people are raised and circumstances become different for each individual. If you have something about yourself that you would like to change that makes you happy when you look in the mirror and more satisfied, go for it. I love that for everybody. As for myself, I will say that what led me to that decision ultimately was 7 years ago. I went through a situation with the man I was dating out of Philadelphia. His name's actually his name is actually Jason. I've never spoken about this in an interview before.
No, but you got to, because you're on
Yeah,
CountyBoySin's
I
platform, and
am.
of
I'm going to
course
speak about
you're
it.
gonna go further and deep, and we're
Yeah.
gonna get the real on everything we talk about. Of
Hmm.
course, let's talk about Jason. Let's talk about everything that happened. We're going to keep it all thorough right here.
Yeah, we're going to get to it, because I always touch on the subject of me being shot. A lot of people know about that, but a lot of people don't know that I was also stabbed. I kind of usually stay away from the topic because it was a family friend for many, many years, many decades. It's actually DMX's cousin.
Wait. The guy who shot you is
No, the guy
DMX's
who stabbed me is
Oh, the
DMX's
guy who
cousin.
stabbed you is
Yeah, I've
DMX's
never
cousin?
talked about this on any interviews because he is close to the family and shit. So I don't personally speak to him, but other people do. He's out of Philadelphia here. Yeah, I decided to date this man. I knew him for many years, and we decided to try to date for a little bit. It was only like a month. I seen some true colors very quickly. I decided not to be with him anymore. We were the night that we kind of fell out. We had a party going on at my house. People had left. He was very intoxicated, but the back and forth argument led to him deciding to stab me. He pulled a knife out of my block. Everything was like I had cameras in my house. This shit was on camera. It was crazy. Um, and then he proceeded to pull his gun and try to shoot me, but it jammed. Thank God. So my kids actually saved my life this night. I'm getting somewhere with this because I know we're on the surgery topic. Um, when my kids saved my life, I woke up the next morning. They managed to get me to the hospital thanks to a neighbor. This is all when COVID had just started. So it was like super crazy calling the ambulance. It was like 30 minutes laying in the back alleyway bleeding out. Nobody's coming out. It's 2 a.m. No ambulance are there yet. My kids are banging on neighbors' doors. Finally get a lady to like come out. She drives me up to the hospital. I'm unconscious in the back seat. Um, when I woke up the next few days, I was in the hospital for like a month. I had a scar from my chest down to here. It was like a 2 foot long scar. I have another scar on my side. All my intestines I came out on my left side where the puncture wound was over here. They opened me up completely from here to here to pull everything back inside. My stomach was a complete shit show. It was horrifying. The scars were ugly. It was lumpy. It was just crazy. I was horrified to wake up and see that. I was thankful to be alive still, but that is what led me to start getting plastic surgery. I loved my body before, I took care of myself. I always been in the gym, always ate very healthy.
And I'm sorry to cut you off,
Hmm.
Paris. What is the relevance? What is the coordination between you having that traumatic injury in terms of being stabbed and getting plastic surgery? Why would plastic surgery result from someone being stabbed? I
I
want
got
that
you.
question to be on the playing field,
I got
and I
you.
want them to see why you answered it, how you answered it, and what that is.
Well, when you quite literally wake up deformed, that, unless you're happy seeing that every day, that becomes a part of it. Plastic surgery becomes a part of that. And not only that, I mean, it took multiple surgeries just to get everything normal. You know what I mean? I went through months and months of surgeries. Yeah, so I don't really know, I guess, how to answer that
No, no,
question
no.
other than
Yeah,
that's.
no, you 100% right. I just want because there's people who can never even dream or
Mhm.
imagine being stabbed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They stubbed their pinky toe on the bed,
No,
and it's the worst pain they ever felt.
it was crazy.
Some people hit their funny bone on the doorknob, and they just can't believe it.
Yeah.
We got to keep it real on County Boy Sin's platform, and I want them to understand how a beautiful women like you can go from being stabbed ultimately to transforming into plastic surgery and even beyond. Now starting a rap career and taking off. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I want people to really understand. That's why I asked the question that way I did. You know what I mean?
I mean, it was God through everything that kept me pushing through everything and helped me to make the choices that I make. You say that first and foremost. It, I put a smile on. Let me say that I laughed through this or whatever because I've lived through it already. But it was hard at that point in time. I did go through years of being different until I got to a point of, all right, I feel okay with myself. And right when I got to a point of, okay, I feel all right with myself, I started another relationship like a fucking idiot. Another man out of Philadelphia. He's actually in prison right now. And when I tried to leave this man, the same situation happened, but he shot me. He shot me. Well, he let off all 9 rounds, and 3 of them hit me. Um,
Wait. So you went through one situation with a guy that you were dating. He ends up stabbing you.
Right.
You go through another situation with the guy. He ends up shooting you 3 times.
Exactly.
Is there anything that you've learned? Maybe guys from Philadelphia, maybe they should be on a list that you possibly aren't able to have a mutual relationship with?
I don't do anything in Philadelphia anymore. I don't live here. I don't have friends here. I don't go out here. I don't do anything.
But you do come to Homeroom Studios
for the first time.
We are
here.
Hopefully you come back. Shout out my boy Mixbot Key. You feel what I'm saying? You do come to Philly for the Homeroom Studios. I do want to put that out there. We is in Philly right now, but you don't do personal business outside of anything else in Philly anymore.
Nothing. I don't eat here. I don't club here. I don't do anything out here. Yeah.
Paris, there was a time where you had some type of relationship with FIVIO Foreign or something? Who? What?
Hold on a second. You trying to play with me?
Nah, I ain't trying to play. Like, ho. FIVIO Foreign, he's in the staff. He ain't the best looking, I guess. I don't know.
But where did you get this information?
I don't know the name. Is it what person in the industry have you had relations with?
Hold on, no. Yeah. Back up, because you just made an insinuation. So I want to know where you got that information.
No, I think I heard FIVIO Foreign dealing with you at a time. If that's not true, please clarify for the audience on who it was, who you had a relationship with. What is it? Fatboy SSC?
What the fuck is
that? I'm just who you know who I'm talking about.
I've not had it. First off, let me clarify.
Let's go.
Yes, I know all of these people. Yes, I'm cool with all these people. I have never had a relationship with any of these people. May I have had adult entanglements with some names? Sure. Fatboy is a friend. Fatboy I've never had any entanglements with. So I'll clear the air. I mean, that was a pretty a little shocker that you just hit me with this shit. Oh well, because I thought we was friends. I mean, you could have warned me. Like, damn,
friends. We more like family at this point.
I have had entanglements with FIVIO, but I think that's just grown folk business. Like,
yeah, and it's CountyBoySin business, and about the audience who want to know about it too. You know what I mean? I mean, we just got to keep it all the way 100. Yo, shout out FIVIO Foreign too. Yo, we just got to keep it all the way 100. But no, I did want to ask you because some people, they message. Yo, Parrish, they messaged me and was like, "Oh, make sure you ask about FIVIO." Real talk.
Who though? That's what I want to know.
I can't. Journalistic integrity. We can't dime out the sources. But we all
wait a second. I have a feeling.
Talk to us.
I have a feeling. No, I'm not gonna expose it. That's cool. I have a feeling. It's all good.
What about Fresh and Fit Walter Weeks?
What the fuck is going on, yo?
What's going on?
I'm done. He about to make me leave, y'all.
I'm about to make you leave. Yo, see, because look, and the reason why I'm asking these names is because I really got my ear to the streets. You know what I mean?
All right, I see where you're going with it. But you know what? I can respect this because I will say out of all the interviews I've done, it does feel like, I do a lot of interviews with sometimes where people haven't necessarily done their research or watched other interviews or seen things about me, you know what I mean? So I can respect it. I can appreciate it. All right.
So I know it was an adult entanglement with somebody like a FIVIO.
You're trying to get back. I tried to loop it up out of there.
No, you good. It was adult entanglement. But when it comes to Walter Weeks and he Fresh and Fit, a podcast host, what was that about? What was that situation? Another adult entanglement? Is that what it was?
I'm a very discreet woman. But since Mr. Walter did what he did with the way that he so-called wanted to expose me or whatever you call it, you know what I'm saying? Because I thought it was a mutual understanding we had, but there was some footage that was leaked out of me, I guess of us together or whatnot that I found later on Reddit by chance. So since he did that, it's not discreet anymore. It is what it is. He's already done what he's done. He's spoken on it or whatever in multiple occasions. I don't have any issue with him. Everything is all good, but just like there's ways you could go about things. If you're going to record somebody and them not know it, you could, I think we were on a good enough level where you could have just been like, yo, I want to record some shit. And I would have did a little piece of content with you. But to go, clocking me, whatever on the low or whatever you was doing was a little bit weird.
It's definitely weird. Weird, what's next for you in terms of your music career.
Oh, thank God. You had another fucking name.
No. I would no. We're not gonna keep throwing out names, but
All
no,
right.
those are the most notable. Oh, no, maybe they're not. I don't know your personal life all like that in terms of adult entanglement, but those are the people that people wanted me to ask about. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So I told them, I said, I'll ask her, bro. You know what I mean? We got to, right? What is next for you in terms of your music career? Tell us some things and some of the yearning things that you would want to do coming up in the future.
Well, right now I have a lot going on with music. I have like probably almost 40 tracks that are ready that I'm just putting a plan behind. Let's see. I also am making more as I go. So I don't know. I'm doing everything. I don't know what to say first. Like I'm a published author now, so I'm entangling everything that I do with each other. Like for example, my book I just wrote, I did an audible for it where I recorded everything myself. Inside the audible, there's scenes where I talk about being at a campfire, right, and music playing. You hear in the background, the music playing is my own music. So I incorporated my own music into my Audible for people to hear as a background. I made it to where when you listen to the book, it feels like you're listening to a movie. So you'll hear helicopters and police and dogs and handcuffs. And, when I'm talking about a scene that describes something, you feel it, you hear it. So yeah, I'm literally entangling my music, my books, and the next move is turning it into movies, TV episodes, things like that. I do have a show that I'm actually about to start. I know this is a little bit of a sidetrack from music, but
Huh.
yeah, it's right now the name of it is Uncut with Paris Banks. I have a venue up in Queens. I will be shooting every Tuesday. It'll be a live show with an audience. The audience will get to participate. Think old school Jerry Springer, that kind of vibe. I'm going to bring 3 to 5 guests in per show. It'll be live in person drama, baby mama drama, family drama, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Altercations. The audience will get to be a part of it, so they'll, get their content and everything as well while they're there. I'll have photographers on deck that'll do stuff and send things to people. It'll be the content that they will get from the show will be a piece of like what they take home in terms of, okay, I bought this ticket, this is the value. You know what I mean? Like the content world these days. So yeah, I'm starting that. It's gonna go great. I'm actually looking to shoot my first event July 14th, if that's a Tuesday, or I think it's Tuesday, July 14th. So pull up, everybody. Stay tuned. Tap into my Instagram in the studio with Paris, and yeah, you'll see the flyer, the event, the details.
Paris, before we hop out of here,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to let the audience know, obviously you've been through a lot. You were able to articulate it very finely. I mean, and enunciate it finely. You really honestly have. Like I said, we something like family in front of the camera, behind the camera. Definitely something like a big sis to me. But all of I appreciate that really. I want people to really honestly know if I was to give my own insight about you, like I said, I already said you're very much business savvy. You are honestly are a great mother. You feel what I'm saying? I've seen you in person.
I appreciate that.
No problem at all. You honestly, business is first, but it's also second when it comes to motherhood.
My kids are before everything,
right?
But that's what the world doesn't see because I don't post them anywhere.
And I do want our audiences to know. Obviously, anybody who watches me, anybody who is already familiar with you, I want them to understand that on a personal level. You're just not out here looking for every dollar. And I know that could be misassociated when people think about the adult business industry. When you mention certain names that people see on their TV screens, whether if it's a FIVIO Foreign or a host from Fresh and Fit or anything like that.
Yeah.
You're not out here just chasing every dollar. You are personable and you are a mother at the end of the day.
I appreciate that.
No, 100%.
And I would like to add in a little piece of, why you touch on that. Like I said earlier, I don't want to glorify anything for the younger generation. This is not something that I'm pushing on young women. I wouldn't want my daughters to do anything that I've had to do or live through. Everybody's life is situational to what they've been through. I definitely raised my children with morals and a characteristic that wasn't installed in me at a young age. You know what I mean? So I've made choices and decisions down the path that I've been on that weren't the greatest, but they ultimately did lead me to be a better person, see things that everybody hasn't seen, have a deeper understanding for human nature, emotions, all of that. Yeah, at a young age, I wasn't necessarily, my parents didn't like say, okay, you need to find a career and decide who you're going to be. Who do you want to be? This is what you need to do to get there. It was never like a structure like that growing up in my home. I think if you guys read my book, Before the Light, you'll see that. But yeah, I definitely install that in my children now. So I appreciate you saying that.
Yo, Paris Banks, I appreciate you locking in with CountyBoySin. Hopefully we can do a round 2
Absolutely.
later on. And yo, I appreciate you coming through, man.
Absolutely.
All family.
Yes, yes. Bye, you guys. Catch me soon. Instagram, in the studio with Paris. Mwah. Stream my music, Paris Banks.